Hi everyone, and a happy anniversary to you all. And welcome to the site that greets you on first entering the anniversary island, the new location for all things anniversary related. My plan today is to just take a quick tour around the things to be seen and to do here, and to finish off with a little go at the new anniversary event. There is still the old one accessible here, so we'll have a little mention of that and the loot to be had. I won't do it again. If you're interested, I do have a video of going through that on an older iteration, and as far as I can tell, not too much of anything has changed on that, neither in the loot or in the way that you go through and complete it. So I won't linger too long on that. So immediately in front of us here as we come in, the map has a few helpful pointers, and as you can see, we've got the first big thing here, Sterling, the strong box with the remnant rush. If you haven't been following, or if you've been out of the game for a while, if you maybe you were a long-term player and you've amassed a big stock of remnants, well, this could be a nice little way to a monthly way to spin the wheel and see if you can get something nice out of them. Basically, it's like a flipping of the coin, isn't it? A heads or tails, as I put it. If you get unlucky and you get tails, you just get some odd cards for the card cursing mechanic, like, a cursed, another worldly, and that kind of thing. But if you get lucky, you can have any one of a number of quite nice rewards. There's a card of curse cleansing, which is already, even after a day or so, if you were lucky enough to get these in the past, you could get up to and above 1,000 shards for selling them on the shard exchange. By the time this event is finished, because this part of it goes on for a year, those card of curse cleansing are going to be, I don't know, the bottom's going to fall right out of that market. So it's unfortunate for those of us who are going to try and sell them to make astral shards. I would think the best thing to do with them right now would be just to hold on to them. I know some people are in a rush to sell them and get something, but the prices are already tumbling. I think both if you want to buy and if you want to sell, I would hold off. If you want to buy, just wait until the price goes right through the floorboards and then take some. And if you want to sell, I would wait until the event is over, more than a year's time. Keep your curse cleansing things, and then if as long as they don't do this again, the price will gradually rise, I guess. That's what I would do anyway. So that as far as I can see from this, the standout item is the Mythdrana reward box. I'll what I did get lucky enough to get I mean we had a real contrast. Myself and a guildmate tried this, and I got, I think, 4 out of the 6 drops I got heads. So I got one reward box. I got a couple of mythic bonuses to put on gear, and I got a card of curse cleansing. My poor guildmate actually did 11 goes, because it turns out, I don't think you're supposed to be able to do this, but it turns out you can have a go across the different servers. If you're active on different servers, the cost doesn't accumulate as it's supposed to. So on a fresh server, you can have a fresh load of spins for that month, which I'm pretty sure is not working as intended. I'm equally sure nobody's going to be in a rush to publicize that on the forums and alert anybody to that. So yes, she did 11 in total, 10 of which were tails. So 10 were just fluff, the cards, the cursed cards and all that kind of thing. And she did get one curse cleanser thing. So it really is completely random. but the Mithdrana box for most of us anyway is nice because it's including stuff in there that is really rare, like the rare artifact rings that people have been farming and farming and farming for and still not getting. So if that's the kind of thing you've been after for playing at the cap, then this is the time to try and acquire it, I think. My approach to this is similar to most people, I think. The costs are incremental if you didn't know. So for each pull at the chest, it goes up. So you've got like 100 remnants for the first try, then 300, 500, 1,000, 2,500, all the way up to 100,000 if you really want to do try number 10. I've heard some complaint. Well, I've read some complaints in the forum about oh, how are we supposed to have 2 million odd, to do 10 pulls each month of the year? Well, the answer is you're not. Just play to your means. Most of us are going to do between 4 and 7 pulls at the chest each month and be happy at that. I don't know why people are going crazy about not being able to afford the last few. Just don't do it. The most important thing to remember is at the end of each month, this thing resets. So you're going to get another set of pulls, for the lower prices. So for whatever you do, the single biggest takeaway, don't throw all your remnants at this in the first month thinking it's going to disappear. It's not. It's going to be available all year, this part of it. So just hang fire, wait until the next month, till the reset, and have another go then if you've got unlucky this time around. And hopefully by the end of the year, most of us will have enough of these Mithdrana boxes to get some of the nice things that we would like. So just to show you, it tells you, if you click on I would like to trade, it tells you where you've got to. These costs are across your account, by the way. It's supposed to be across your account. I think they're per server at the moment. So as I've already done 6 pulls on previous things, I've got to 10,000 for this next pull, which I'm not prepared to do. So I'm leaving it at that. So you just, but it does tell you what number you're on and what the cost is for the next one. So moving around here, this is the gin, which anybody who was around for the 15th anniversary, I think any anniversary, I think he's always been there, hasn't he? But we can come to him during this month, as we've had in the past, a discovery buff. So we've got a 10% festive bonus on the chances of getting named loot. Little story about this. The very first thing I tried to do just after having got this was run the Ettercaps incursion in the Mithdrana public area. I've been looking for some time for that Golden Age large shield, which is distinctive for the fact it's got both legendary conditioning, the hit points, and guard breaking on it. And even with friends to help, I'd been drawing a blank. And as soon as I went in on my own, first attempt with this thing going, obviously it's a complete coincidence, but just thought I'd mention it. And there it was in the end chest. I was so shocked. I just sat there and looked at it for 5 minutes with it sitting there in the chest as if to say, well, aren't you going to pick me up? So that was a really nice thing. Bearing in mind, I've got a paladin planned. That's what I'm doing at the moment, trying to level another character to turn it into a paladin tank to help the party. I think we're trying to have as much flexibility in our little group as possible. There's basically 3 of us who play regularly, and we're all trying to have to end up with a ranged sort of a CC caster, maybe healery type, and a tanky type. If we could all do that, that would be awesome. So that's the gin. If anybody has a 15th anniversary thing token, you can hand it in here and get the it actually shows you what you could get, even though I can't take anything because I don't have the token. But I think this is the 15th anniversary. Oh, it's telling us there, the list. So if you have one of these 15th tokens, you can hand it in here. If you haven't played for ages and you're just sitting on one or two of those. I think that was one per account. It's important to mention the 20th ones, it's one per character. So every character you've got can go and get a token, sorry, a reward from the person just round here, this token collector, which we'll get to in a minute. Can we see the rewards for... No, I don't want to actually go. I'm not going to go and do the old one. Can we... Is this the reward? Tolero? Yeah, okay. So as far as I remember, one of the most compelling items from this old anniversary is this one. The D12 teleport to the marketplace. For some reason it's not wanting to show me properly, but when rolled it teleports to the marketplace. It's on a 1 minute cooldown, particularly useful early in a life when you don't have any UMD capability for using your scrolls. It's just not wanting to do the mouse over. Is it because I've got this window open? But that would be the standout one for me, that D12. Otherwise, you've got caster sticks in varying flavors if you want them for leveling up. In all the usual stuff: acid, fire, cold. I think there's negative. I think there's a light one. I think there are force as well. So whatever you happen to want, they have it. Cosmetics in abundance if that's your thing. I think there's a sentient jewel. Is it of the kobold maybe? Quite pricey. Also, if you happen to have party favors left over from a previous event, previous years, they should work for this. As far as I know, there's no perishing mechanic as there is in, say, Night Revels. These things keep their worth, as far as I know, year on year. I'm not going to belabor those too long because it's stuff we've all seen before. But yeah, if you're a caster, are there any of those still left? I'm stubbornly maintaining my interest in my cold druid, but I know many people have left for pastures new on that score. Right, moving further round, this is the 20th token collector. I can't trade because I've already claimed a token on this one. I won't go into too much detail about this, but suffice it to say, if any of you have followed with the goings on the forums, you'll know there's been a proper hoo-ha about the details of this list. It started off with a good number of items that could be crunched into set augments, which the hardcore endgame players were really looking forward to, because that was pretty much the only thing that would have interested them in the list. And long story short, the list has been revised to exclude that kind of stuff, and for the regular raider, I don't think there's too much of interest on there. For the more casual players like myself and my guildmates, the Quiver of Alacrity, if you don't have one, very compelling. You do need to upgrade it, which you can do with the, I think it's the 8 tomes that drop in the from the rare encounters in the Necro 4 Orchard of the Macabre Wilderness. They're quite rare drops, and I would expect the price of them to skyrocket now on the auction houses, because everybody's going to be wanting to upgrade these quivers. Me personally, I have one of these on for my characters to share. As mentioned before, if you craft bound to account ammo and put it in that quiver, the quiver then becomes bound to account and can be passed around your various characters. So to me at least, one of these is enough to go between, and I would only ever be leveling one character at once anyway, so I wouldn't need to have more than one. Although, because this reward can be collected by every character on your account, you might want to collect a couple of quivers on bank characters or whatever and upgrade them at your own convenience, because there really is nothing better to take for them. Otherwise, things that I see here that would catch the eye. Void is quite nice if you happen to be a standard bow user. The bow itself is okay, probably dated now in terms of endgame, well, definitely. But the ice arrow is quite nice to, it would save you a couple of AP in the enhancement tree for the conjure arrows, and you can just use it's a returning arrow just like the conjure arrow would be. So that's not too bad as an option for the ranged. But any ranged who doesn't have the epic quiver of alacrity, I would definitely go for that. That's a nice, well, not just a nice leveling item from 20, it's also got the threat reduction on there. Just trying to find the thing. Yeah, so you've got the speed as well, movement speed, attack speed, threat reduction, insightful sneak attack, double shot. Just a nice item. And for any casters as well, because there's nothing that compelling for casters. But that stealth strike is reducing threat from spells as well. And it seems in the game it's more difficult to reduce spell threat than it is for melee and ranged. So that could be quite an interesting choice for a caster. The only caveat to mention with this one, and it is quite a big one, that concentration penalty up there at the top. If you are under fire and you're trying to raise somebody with a scroll or cast, let's say, a greater resto, if you get hit at all with that penalty, you're just not going to be able to do the scroll. So if that's a thing for you, maybe think twice. But I would still go for this quiver on a ranged or a caster if you don't have it already and you don't plan on doing the Mark of Death raid where it comes from. Which brings me to the item. Red actually has the quiver already. He's had it for some time. He got it doing the raid. He's pretty good in there. So he went instead for the hallowed splinters, not because I plan to use the weapon itself, but when upgraded, we get. Let me just find it. Yes, Brian, I know I've still got copper festival coins from another event lurking in here. Please don't judge. Where is it? Is it that one? No. Where is it? That one? No. There. There we go. So I've long coveted this because unlike the standard bow people, their conjure arrow spell is like an infinitely returning arrow, whereas the conjure bolt is not. So the number of times I've either stuffed my inventory with bolts through fear of running out, or the opposite extreme, run out in the middle of a boss fight and had the boss then pummel me into the ground. This is the solution, and because it comes from Project Nemesis, this thing, and I don't too often see that being run, and also I'm a bit reluctant to step in because I really don't know too much what I'm doing in there despite having read the wiki. So to have this Radiant Bolt, as you can see there, returning, just not having to worry about ammo again on any crossbow build that this character does, is just lovely. So that's why I went for Hallowed Splinters for him. So long story short, from this selection, if you don't have a quiver of alacrity at all, then I'd say go for that. Bear in mind it needs upgrading, so going for multiple ones, you're going to make quite a bit of work for yourself upgrading several ones, especially when you consider you can swap them between characters. For any ranged or caster, the Epic Quiver, I'd say, isn't a bad choice. If you happen to have the Epic Quiver already on a ranged, either Void if you're a bow, if you like the standard bow, or the Hallowed Splinters for the, for the ammo you can generate from them. Or if you're into your melees, there is the Sword of Shadow here, which has been featured in other boxes and stuff before, but is still a really great leveling item, whether you want the heroic one as seen here, or you can easily upgrade it to an epic version, which is very nice too. I think those are the standout things from the selection here. Okay, so we have somewhere. It's not marked on the map. It's one of us mentioned yesterday. There is an evil eye thing around here. It's not actually marked on the map, but this is the one you talk to gain the arcane trickster for your account. The option to create tricksters. Now this is only available while the event is running, so get yourself round there, pick this up. You just, yes please. It's telling me I've already got it on the account, and then it's available for your account going forward. If you don't pick it up during the event, it'll go into the store, and if you do actually want to play one, you'll have to pay DDO points for it then, as I understand it. So, moving around again, here we've got the new anniversary event, and this is notable for the fact it's played as a quest for the. I think it's the first special event of its kind. It's played as a quest instead of you know, like one of these challenge things, like the night revels, where you just set your level, but it's still basically normal level. Here you can set Reaper if you want to, and indeed, if you're after tokens for the event, it pays you to run it on Reaper 1. As with other events, to get the most amount of tokens, you need to, well, let's say I was going in with Red. Red is level 34, so I'd need to be quest level, his level, to get no penalty to tokens. So I could do that one, the 32, on Elite or Reaper, with Reaper granting the most tokens. So that would make it a level 34. So I could do that, and I would get 12 tokens per run, as I understand it. So provided you're not higher than 34, which is currently impossible, just running the 32, if you're with a capped character, obviously, running the 32 on Reaper 1 would be the best way to farm the tokens if you're after some of the gear out of here. Personally, I've had a look at the gear. I'm not overly motivated to farm any of it. Some of it looks quite nice on the cosmetic side. They all have sun and moon augment slots, so if that's a thing for you, if you're lacking that type of thing for like heroic leveling or whatever, that might be a thing. The thing that stood out for me was the Malicious Crown, this one. So from level 4, you could have freedom of movement. To my knowledge, that's the earliest, if you don't have one of the Mysterious Remnant bottles, like this thing here. To my knowledge, that's the earliest source of freedom. So could be very good for preserving your life against such things as those awful warlocks in Three Barrel Cove in the Gal's tomb. That basically, to be held by them in my early days was a death sentence. So if you don't have, I know there are very nice early level headpieces like is it the Crown of Butterflies with Crown of Summer on it, that kind of thing from Fae that's a level 5. But if you happen not to have a source of freedom, and you know there's going to be stuff casting hold spells, which can be really nasty, especially if you don't have a harper pin to jump out of it, then this could be a thing available from level 4. Otherwise, if you don't Canithcraft and you're looking for a source of sonic resistance against those shouty dinos, maybe this could be helpful. Sonic Absorb 39 on there, on the max level one. That's the one that stood out for me anyway. The cloak, if you look at them on the wiki, the designs of some of the cloaks look quite nice. But as I mentioned, it's 50 things. So what would that be? 12, 21, 24. It would be, assuming you're getting max tokens each run, it would be 5 runs to get an item, unless my maths has let me down appallingly. I will go in there and show you. I've quite enjoyed it. The basic crux of it is you go in there and it's like a shout back to notable quests of the past. Oh, this chap here has just saved me a job. If he just stays there a minute, that's the 20th anniversary cloak, which you can pick up. I think it's marked on the map. Is it? No, I'm gonna have to go there, aren't I? I think you can take as many as you want. It's here, look. Master of Cloaks. So you just go on there. I'd like to claim the cloak. All right. The cloak appears in your inventory, said he confidently. Where is it? Oh, does it? Does it appear in my inventory? Oh, I've already granted you authorization. Oh, so you speak to him to be able to get the cloaks, and speak to the apprentice to gain further cloaks. Where's the weaver in training then? Is that over here somewhere? I don't know where that person is. It's not marked on the map, is it? Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that. That's where the access to the cloak is. I'm not particularly impressed with the cloak itself. You can see it here, look. I don't think it's that amazing. I think the 15th was a little bit better. This thing just looks flat. It doesn't look to have too much substance to me. Not that I'm too much of a cosmetic person anyway. So I think we've pretty much covered things to see and do in apart from the quest itself. But I did want to show you. Let's throw our feather fall on. I wanted to show you this because I was looking around here and I suddenly saw. Where is he? I suddenly saw the epic trainer thrown up in the middle of the clouds here. I thought, what's that all about? So I went wandering across here, and it turns out you're going to want a decent jump and feather fall here. It turns out you can wander up here. These little coins, pretty much nothing, but they have a chance to give you a tasty... Oh, well done, me. They have a chance to give you a tasty ham on occasion. Ah! I just know this is going to end up being a nightmare. It was the first time I tried it, but more because of the it was stuttering all over the place because everyone was wanting to go in here at once, you know, when the worlds reopened yesterday. So we just get to a stage here where we go onto the little thing in the middle and then back to the outside. And hopefully if I don't make too much of... Ah! You can at least recover it and land on the things a bit lower down. This reminds me a little bit. I once saw somebody's video on that fiendishly difficult racing game. Is it called Trackmania? Where every now and again they'll do like a collection of horrible challenges which basically spiral up and up, and if you fall down you've lost everything or something, but sometimes they can catch themselves like lower down. I'm not saying this is anything like as difficult, I'm just making a mess of it, but I'm determined to try and get to the top. The first thing one of the others asked me yesterday was, well, what's at the top? What do you get? I said, well, nothing, just the view. And immediately then they lost all interest in going to the top. but I wanted to get there. So get there we have. So there's nothing as far as I can tell for clicking on this or anything, but we just get to stand here and admire the anniversary island from on high. So we can say we've ticked that box. Now on the other side, if you're more into floating down low, there's a little challengey section there with some coins and bits and pieces that you can drop down. And there's one Cordovan showcased on a video he did on the other side, I think, where you drop down through these rings and collect the coins. Here, there we go. It's a public area, so we'll be in with other people collecting. And I think you get to a stage where it just reaches an end and there's no more, and then you just get teleported back to there we go, back to the main area. So I think I've shown just about everything apart from the anniversary quest itself. I quite like this. There are rehashes of famous memories of DDO DDO past, and it's got some replay value because on any given run you're only going to get 3 of those, and I think there are, is it 6 or 7 possible ones? I can't remember how many I've seen up to now. So we're going to be masochistic. We're going to put it on the high level and a fairly decent level of challenge. So I don't expect to survive, but I expect to show you enough that you can judge for yourself whether you're going to like it or not. So this first section, for those of you who don't raid, maybe you won't recognize the killing time raid. This is the idea being that you transport around the various islands of the area with these little air jets. You definitely need featherfall in this area.
She's whispering in your ear.
I've been expecting you.
Where was I with the buffs? I'd completely forgotten. So we speak to the dragon. I'll look around. Then we make our way around here. Speak to this person here and get ready for a fight. Now all we have to do is eliminate that person when it all kicks off. Nobody else, just that person. And as soon as that one is out of the picture, all the others just go back to being docile again. So now we need to featherfall down to where the dragon is. Thankfully we don't have to fight said beast. Using these little air draft things. It's a little bit fiddly, but as long as you've got featherfall you should be okay. Click on that and then it's going to say report to Sarion, which is the dragon. Easiest way, just fall off the island you're on and it'll take you back there, or you could DDO as well. Speak to the dragon, and now we're going off into the meat of the quest. So it's going to choose now, it's going to take us to the sort of central quest area, which is quite nice, I think. Anybody who's done the Chronoscope raid will recognise this area where the Mind Flayer normally is. So here we've got some old friends, Nell and Nat Gan from said raid. And another old friend here.
You have questions.
So we just step into the portal and just see what we get. Oh no, this could be very short-lived. In fact, it probably will be. This is a tough one. This is the last section of the against the Demon Queen for those of you who don't recognize it.
The Quarry have infiltrated the Court of Flame.
And the end of it,
Everything seems
the
normal
Laylat herself
until
is
you
pretty
get to the
horrible.
top. See for yourself.
Let's try to at least get out of the first room, eh? There's a double remnants thing going on at the moment, so that should help people to get some nice stockpiles in. Oh, something behind. Don't like that. Crikey, yeah, that's why we need to be going in with extreme prejudice here. That ooze that I've got with me is from the weapon, and here it should hopefully really help attracting attention away, because as you can see, every time I get hit it's half my health gone. The purists would say I shouldn't be getting hit, and they'd be quite right. I'm just being careless. Now then, can we just go in and terrorize that lot? Oh, we did miss a couple of remnants, didn't we? Let's collect those. Okay. So, thing to note here, the
Never
twist is
ask
Zawabi
anyone
is
in
actually in
power
here
for
in place of the
permission or
underboss.
forgiveness. Just get them talking, and they'll
He can
offer
cast,
both in spades.
is it Dust to Dust, just like the Vengeance Reaper can, so it's definitely going to pay us to put some Spell Absorb on here, because he engages you first. Go on, Ooze, tank him. Of course, just like with all these elemental types, when he's doing his little air dance, you can't touch him. I think what happened in my testings, I did get past this guy, but Layla then just knocked me down and I never got up. She hits like a truck. Now can I get the ooze? Ooze, go and engage that damn thing. Please. I think he has. If she hits me, I'm dead. Oof, okay. Right. So then we have a little twist on the ending as well. Zawabi ends up beating her up. Those with true sight, I do have true sight on this character. You do have the option to attack him. But I don't think that gets you anything else. Maybe a bit of optional XP. But I think in the interest of self-preservation, I'll just go find
Keeping
whatever.
him alive is an understandable risk. Let's see what that changes. If we don't like the results, we can revisit later.
So then we're on to the next timeline. Let's see what we get here. That is really not easy, by the way. I've tried that on my druid caster and on my barbarian, who's fairly robust, although self-healing is an issue for him. and both of them got absolutely smashed by, well, one of them got one shot by Zawabi, 4,000 odd dust to dust, and the second one basically got one shot by Layla, so it's not easy. And look here, we've got
Decided to nip you and your
the
companions in the bud when you
this
were
is the
at your
beginning quest,
weakest.
isn't it? The
Beware the
Talbron and
shadows,
Selimas.
and
What's it
do
called,
not
this?
trust your eyes.
The evil aura is oppressive. Sawagin are behind this door.
They also have, I was pleased to note, they have Misery's Peak
Kill anything
as
that
a
tries to
an
break us.
option as well, which
You.
I really like that quest. So memories of DDO gone past. Might be a good time to mention how I first found the game. I think in company with many. I just did a simple Google search,
What, it's
Dungeons and
empty?
Dragons online game, and this is what came up.
Look, the door closed behind us.
These are going to turn against us, unfortunately. But I think they also turn on themselves. I've seen them attacking each other on occasion. So we dispose of these three, and then the big boss guy comes up. What is that? Oh, Mind Flare is it? Let's have some spell absorb. Okay, lovely stuff. So not too bad, that one. Certainly not as bad as the Demon Queen one.
The spirits possessing the inspired are immortal.
So just one more to go, and then we can get our reward. As mentioned already, if you're just doing it for the rewards, don't do what I'm doing and run silly Reaper level. Do it on Reaper 1 for the and do it at level appropriate. So whatever level you happen to be, I'm level 34, so I could have set it to the one below, the CR 32, which would have been 34 on Elite or Reaper. No need at all, no extra bonus for doing the higher difficulty, apart from pain. Okay, now this one I've only seen once, and from what I could tell, oh my god, this isn't good, is it? From what I could tell, I think I'm gonna die here. I was gonna say, from what I could tell, the you just had a quota of creatures that you had to kill. Quite surprised we got through that. Okay. Timelines are slightly better. Does that mean last time I didn't... I saw him, but I didn't engage him. And after killing a certain number of things, I think there was another, like, time gate thing
I
opened.
don't see a problem here. She's not as focused or determined as you were, but do what you will.
Was there is there like a portal out somewhere here, or not? I don't even know. I mean, the way I would normally go through this would be up here and across the bridges. I don't want to, especially after having killed the boss one. I don't want to end up getting swamped and then losing. Because as far as I know, if we win this, we get the big prize. Oh, that looks like the boss. If we can get rid of that, I think we can. Yeah, there we go. We get the little portal, and I think that's it. I think that,
Well
yeah,
done.
chest.
Don't forget the treasure chest.
And
I
it
will
just gives
send
you your
back to the
12. 12,
present,
as far as I'm aware,
but
is
mind
the
your
most
words
that you
to
can
those
get.
whose dreams
Now,
are so
as it is a
easily
quest,
invaded.
you could totally do it in you know, for epic leveling. or on Legendary as a first time, I think you can get a nice chunk of Reaper XP if that's what you're after. So, yeah, notable to mention that. Just glad to have got through because I'm not joking. Maybe it didn't come across the way we were doing that. I mean, Red as an arty does fairly substantial damage, but you could see every time he got hit, they were taking half his health. So they are not to be underestimated. Right, we'll take our thing out of here. And move on. So, yeah, I was going to try and show you the box, the Mithrana box, and the kinds of things that can be gotten from in there, because I think we've pretty much covered the anniversary area itself. I tell you what we could do before we move, just because this update wasn't just the anniversary, was it? There were quite a raft of bug fixes and changes, some of which really did catch my eye. So let's have a little. I'll bring that up on my screen, and then maybe I can talk about the yeah, some of it relates to the appearance of this arcane trickster, which, if you haven't followed that at all, deals quite a bit in force damage. And if I read this right, they fixed the force damage and the way that works to interact normally with MRR. If I understood it correctly, for some reason, force just went straight through any MRR you had, which is why those Nothic have been particularly deadly. So to have that in, for tanky types, should help them to become quite a bit more survivable, which is nice. There's been an update, hasn't there, to a couple of like the Scorching Ray and Frost Lance, from what I can gather. I've had decent boosts on the back of this this latest update. I think it's boosting max caster levels, so damage done. So that's quite nice in a time when casters are struggling generally. Struggling is relative. They can still do a very decent job at the cap, unlike Reaper 6, so read into that what you will. I think struggling the seasoned cap players would define as not putting out damage close to what the melees and ranged are doing, but you must qualify that by saying the melees and range can't do anything like the AOE a caster can. So in terms of total damage, maybe maybe they are comparable, but people tend to focus, especially when talking about raids, on the single target potential, don't they? This is an interesting one. They've taken away the mantle of invulnerability from certain from the lich types, like the one at the top of Tower of Validus in the is it level 11 Jurasco quest, which I always used to and the Whiz King as well, to forget about it, that you need a high level magic spell to damage these things if you happen to be on a caster, to go in there and forget, get all the way to the top, and then think, oh no, I've done it again. So it's been replaced by a magical defense instead, so that you'll just do less damage generally, but you won't be stopped from completing by this complete barrier, which I think is quite nice. What else did I? Oh, there was a big one towards the bottom, wasn't there? Oh yeah, I've been on my cold druid. I've been moaning the fact that the zero damage comet, the higher up in levels you go, is tending to do zero damage when the enemies save. So they fixed that, thankfully. That's the tier 5 thing at the top of the Magus tree, either cold or negative, depending which you go for. Thankfully, that's been fixed. And also, as a little side note on that, we've got the Moon Lance or the Gloom Spear epic strikes from that same tree. You can now use those well quelled, which is quite nice, which is as it should be because they're SLAs, aren't they? So I was pleased to see that. I'm not going to go through them all, but there has been quite a raft of fixes there. And depending on I've just focused on those because that's relevant to a build I play off and the Cold Caster Druid. But there's plenty of stuff there, I'm sure, for most people will have found at least something that relates to one or more of the builds they play. So happy to see that. But for me, the two biggies were the zero-degree comet and the force damage, the MRR thing. I won't talk any here about the arcane trickster thing itself because that can be, maybe I'm going to try that. The past life for that, as far as I know, is illusion DC and force spell damage, albeit very little amount of force power rather. That being the case, that would fit quite well with my cold druid, who relies pretty heavily on the colour spray to stop the reapers. It's the only reaper defense he has, so illusion DC would be good for him. And force is his second thing behind cold, so maybe in the fullness of time we'll have a go at that. I think from my reading, there are a couple of approaches that could be half decent. One would be to just dedicate yourself to like the Shiradi magic missile spammers of old, to get this, what's it called, magical ambush thing to trigger. You'd need as many hits as possible. So is it force missile, chain missile, magic missile, all that kind of thing, all of which the trickster does get. So to do it that way. And the other might be to do something like stick build using the acrobat tree and back it up with the very high CC options that there are in there. I think there's a sound burst in there, isn't there? And albeit they're on long cooldowns, their CC notably goes not off a spell DC, but off the I think it's disabled device DC. So you could have a very, very strong DC to give yourself all sorts of sneak attack opportunities with sound burst, which could be quite fun. But one thing I have noticed is the trickster will obviously be an intelligence class between as a casty rogue type. I would assume that would be the case. But the acrobat tree that they've paired with it is in most cases only giving dex options, like it gives dex to hit and damage in that tree. So I'm guessing you would almost certainly need to go and put 8 or 12 points in Harper for intelligence to hit and damage and know the angles trance to make that half decent. But maybe we'll do a little mini series on that in the future. Okay, so I wanted to go and have a look at the box, didn't I? Is it in our bank, the box? I think this is, well, to me at least, this is the real treasure of this anniversary event. The 20th token reward itself is not particularly inspiring, pretty much a rehash of old lists. Nothing. There were some newer items on the original list, and they got removed. There you go. If you wanted proof, that's my proof. Legendary large shield of the Golden Age. Doesn't she look beautiful? I'd just made a point of going in there sort of every day, every other day, and trying my luck. And yesterday, it just happened to drop for me. So happy days. If you're planning a tanky paladin sword and shield build, at least for against general trash, for general questing, I can't see as there'd be too many better options than that. Of course, against the boss, the guard breaking side of it is useless, so you'd maybe want to swap to something like maybe the Fallen Age. Do we have the Fallen Age one in here? Shield. Yeah. Oh, and please, developers, get rid of these silly fade borders. They're so annoying. But yes, on that one, Insightful Insight would be great for keeping boss attention, and the extra life would be nice too. Or you could use the shield from Threats Old and New if you're all lucky enough to have that. The what's it called? Palisade, which you could put the either an enemy debuff, or you could put the enhancement for the 1000 temp hit point trigger thing on there as a tank. So that's an option too. I think I've left the box on a different character, so I'm just gonna log into him. So as mentioned, I got very lucky. I got a couple of those dust things. If you didn't know, they can come in either mythic or reaper form, and you can add a mythic or reaper bonus to an item of your choice. They work just like the curse card thing. You click on the dust, it opens up a barter window. You drop in the item you want to upgrade, and hey presto, it's done. As far as I can tell, because I just got mythic ones, it adds a +3 mythic on the item in question. Don't worry about which character you're acquiring these things on, by the way, because they're all bound to account as far as I can tell. The boxes, the dusts, the curse cards, everything is bound to account, so it doesn't matter who actually goes and collects the thing. Where is he actually on the character? Oh, it's here. It's on himself, right? Yes, I want to spend the last couple of minutes just going through the. So it's called a fragmented treasure of Mithdrana. To me, this is easily the most valuable drop out of the Remnant Rush event, and I just want to spend a little bit of time going over it. Of course, it's most valuable if you like to play it cap, but there are things that are seriously powerful even if you don't. So you've got all these Crown Blade, War Blade, Longswords. I don't know too much about those and haven't really gone into that because I don't really do longsword builds, so that's not something I'm au fait with. But let's try and find a couple of examples of powerful things that are on the heroic side. This definitely being, oh, where is it? Cloak of the Crown Blade. That's definitely one of them. Look at that. 15% bonus to max hit points in heroic from level 13. That's pretty damn decent. In fact, my Barbarian Fools was until recently using that on the legendary side. To give a comparison, the legendary version only has 15% the same. So you could conceivably wear that heroic version in legendary and it would be a decent item. So that's definitely one good choice for those of you who prefer more the tiaring thing and like to stay in heroic. Also, the shields, you've seen the legendary equivalents, but this is the heroic version, And look at that. You've got guard breaking and legendary conditioning on the heroic shield as well. So that too is a pretty awesome item. In fact, all this chain of shields have that. The small one has the same, just a bit less on the hit points, and the buckler too, extra hit points and guard breaking. So those are nice picks. But for me personally, I'm only heroic. I just use what I've got. I'm not one for. I typically only go through on Reaper 1 anyway, just to get to the cap. So I just use what I've got. I'm not one for investing too much, if anything, in heroic. So I look to the cap and the things that stand out for me. Bearing in mind I've got this paladin build that's coming. That shield was definitely one, the large shield of the Golden Age. Now I've been lucky enough to drop it. I don't need to focus on that. But this here, the heavy armor of the Crown Blade. Oh, you'd want the legendary version, wouldn't we? Is it... where is it? The Crown Blade ones, as far as I can tell, are all to do with healing. So that one, on a tanky paladin, look at that. We've got elemental resistance. Even the linguistic thing is nice on a tank, reducing the cooldown on Intimidate. That's decent. And then we've got the stacking 45 bonus to heal amp. Now what that's not showing is when you upgrade that thing with the barrier fragments from the threats raid, you can also get an extra bonus to, I think it's PRR, depending on how many paladin levels you've got. So that's an extra 20 PRR on top of all the other stuff. So that's going to be a very compelling pick, and it would be a horrible farm. I think it might come from one of the quests in Mythdrano that you've got to walk for miles to get to, and I think it's a pretty long quest too. So that's definitely on my shopping list. I should mention now, these weren't on the original list. All the people who were complaining about the 20th reward list being lukewarm, I don't think there'd be any argument that for a seasoned player that list is lukewarm at the very least. But they did go back on their original plan for this box, and they went on to include all the legendary artifacts, which are extremely rare drops, and people have been farming forever for, in particular, this one, Autumn Equinox. That Bloody Thorns, damage bonus stacking with everything else for every 4 of your Wilderness Law feats. So I think that can equate to a 5% straight bonus maximum if you have 20 of, say, Barbarian or who gets Wilderness Law? Is it Barbarian, Druid, and Ranger? Am I right? So I know Barbarian builds are very popular. So in the case of this build here, it's not pure, but he would still get a 4% bonus from that. Added to that, the very nice acid damage over time. The Alchemical Earth is great too. And it's an artifact with 5 filigree slots, plus we've got insightful double strike on there, which is very nice too, or double shot if you happen to be a ranged character. So yeah, that is one of the standout things. I'm in a bit of a quandary personally, because my character here has a lovely artifact anyway. That's on its own, that's a nice artifact, a great one for his build, with a super curse on 2 sneak attack dice. So I don't know what to do there about that, but the Autumn Equinox is definitely a standout thing from this box for those of you who like to play at the cap. If you have like a barbarian, a druid, or a melee druid rather, or a ranger type. The other one that caught my eye in here is the, I mean, it depends what build you're doing, but the one to catch my eye, you might recall I mentioned I was struggling to get the to get an item into my ranged character Red's gear for the imbue, the electrical imbue, and this is just perfect, isn't it? We've got a unreal amount of electric spell power on there, plus it's an artifact with 5 slots, so not too shabby at all. I could see me, depending on how many boxes I get, I could see me picking that up and trying to work that into his gear, and then I wouldn't need to cheat and get an imbue from the Dragon Lord instead. So that could be something in the future. So too long didn't listen. The Mythdrana, Fragmented Treasure of Mythdrana is the standout reward, for me at least, from the Remnant Rush event and from the event itself. That particular event, the Remnant Rush, is going on all year, so don't be spewing all your remnants on the first month. Save some for the reset, because the costs reset every month, so you should hopefully get some good pulls sooner or later on the law of averages. Okay, I think that's about it. I've waffled on for far too long already. Thank you very much as always for looking. Happy questing, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.